Today I'm going to paint mixed media over this watercolour sketch. Hi everyone, Steve Elliott here again. Now in my last video I put a colour wash over a pencil drawing from my traditional sketchbook which I'd scanned in and put this wash over it, which you can see there. And then I thought, why stop there? Why not turn this into a multimedia piece with oil paint on it and charcoals and all sorts? So I did, and this is how I got on. I'd already got the painting, the original wash painting, loaded up in Artrage, and I'll put a link to that video below for you in the description section, so you can have a look at that if you haven't seen it already. So it was just a matter of creating a new layer, and in that new layer I started to use oil paint, and the brush I used for this was the thick gloss brush. Again, I had to reset all of the brush presets. I don't know what happens every time I use every time I use Artrage. I have to re-import all of the presets. There's something weird going off there. Anyway, so all of the brushes I use in this are the thick gloss brush and the hard out smudge palette knife and a tube of paint as well. So this is for the oil part of the painting. So I begin by putting on the oil paint, and I'm sort of painting the foreground there, and you can see I'm using tubes of paint straight away because I wanted to get a lot of contrast between the watercolour wash, which I was going to leave huge areas of, and the oil paint, which I wanted to be really thick. And even the brush on its own, I didn't think in the foreground offered enough texture. I really wanted that to be thick paint. So I went for squirting the tubes of paint on and then painting into them. So you can see I'm just sort of over painting the original wash. And to select the colours, I just I've got it set up so in Artrage, when I hold the stylus or the eye pencil on the screen over a colour, it auto selects that colour to paint with. So it was really easy to choose the colours I wanted for this painting. I didn't really have to use the colour picker at all much. I just selected them straight off the painting. And I wanted, you see in the background there, that sort of rough pencil work, that texture. I wanted to keep that in places. And I also wanted this thick oil paint in other places. So it was difficult to actually balance it out and get the right texture on the oil paint and keep the watercolour wash there as well. So what I do now, you can see I've created a new layer, and I start using charcoal, and I'm just using the soft charcoal pencil brush. And I did select some blues off the colour wheel for this in places. And I used that to put some sort of local colour into it because I felt the oil paint wasn't giving me the texture I wanted. And I thought, hey, this is a mixed media and I can do what I want. I can put charcoal on top of oil paint because this is digital. I don't have to wait for paint to dry or anything like that. I can just go straight in and use the charcoal. And then I did something crazy and tried using the lining pen, which I didn't like at all. And I went back to the oil paint brush in the end. But I used a really thin brush just to put some highlights on the top of that seagull. And you can see I don't care about detail in this painting. It really is an impressionist piece. I'm not worried about faces or even body shapes to some extent. They're just sort of blobs. I've painted blobs, but that's okay. I'm happy with it. A little bit of fauna there that was sort of on the side of the harbour, I guess. I don't know if that was in a pot or if it was some sort of weed growing up between the slabs. Notice I painted out my original signature there. I thought that was way too big for an oil painting, so I painted that out with the oil paint and then added a new signature. Then I start going in with some pencil work. I thought, let's bring back the pencil over the paint and get some. And the last piece I did, I was very happy with this sort of squiggly pencil line for textures. So I decided to give that a go. So I created another new layer and started putting in this pencil work. And then I went into the oil paint and see if I could actually dig into that oil paint with the pencil, but it didn't work too well. So at this point, I was still working on the pencil, but not over happy with it, especially in the foreground. I thought, it's not what I want. So then I put a little bit of white pencil over that, and I thought, nope, that ain't working either. I tried erasing it out, but then because I'd gone into the oil layer, it erased some of that as well. So I thought, no, that's not going to work. So I thought, okay, let's have another layer and let's get some more oil paint on there and paint out those pencil marks. I can leave some of them in if I want. So that's what I did. And I started painting over again with another layer of oils. And I thought, let's get that tube out again. So at some point, very soon, I'm going to grab that tube of paint and start putting more texture on there. And then I used the palette knife, but I barely touched the surface of the iPad with a pencil, and that gave a really nice soft way of just sort of taking the top off the tubes of paint, but left texture in there. And I was way happy with that. I just softened off that pillar a little bit at the bottom. I felt that I'm not so sure if I actually recorded that a little bit, but you will see in the finished painting. So I just kept going, putting in a few more thick bits of paint. And there we have it. That is my mixed media oil painting in Artrage. So I've got oil painting, charcoal pencil and coloured pencil in there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, a thumbs up as always is much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing because I have lots of videos like this and I would love to be sharing them with you. So hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.